Okay, this is going to be a quick tutorial on how to create helically swept threads. Um, it's actually quite simple. The first thing we need to do is create an object to put helical swept threads on. So I'm going to simply select the front plane, place a circle, and dimension that circle. We're going to go with 1/4 inch 20 thread per 1/4 20 threads. So I'm simply going to dimension this circle 1/4 inch. I'm now going to turn this into a feature, an extruded feature. The length is not critical at this point. And now you'll see I have a cylinder that's a 1/4 inch in diameter. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is create a circle, sketch of a circle that's going to basically be the base of my helix or the foundation of my helix. The simplest way to do that is to select a face and sketch on it and simply convert the entities. In other words, I want my helix to be this diameter, the same diameter as this circle, on the surface of this part. Now all I simply do is go to my features and go curves, helix, and spiral. And notice that instantly SolidWorks brings up this helix and spiral dialog box. There's several different ways to define it. I'm going to define it by the helix and the pitch. The height and the pitch, excuse me. The height meaning the length of the thread, if you will. And pitch is the pitch of the thread. So here we're going to go with a height of a 1/2 inch, or a thread length of a 1/2 inch. Notice how that preview, notice how that changes. I'm going to click that so you can see that. Okay, the pitch of the thread is 1 over the number of threads per inch. Since we're doing a 1/4 20 bolt, we have 20 threads per inch. We have 1 over 20. Okay, notice that that's 50 thou. The next thing we're going to do is the start angle. Okay, it's very important that we make that start angle some nominal number. Notice here I put it at 15 degrees. That's going to start it at 15 degrees from the horizontal of this X and Y axis. You don't really want to do that. Typically you want your start angle to be 0 or 180 or 90 or 270 so that its start point, okay, its start point shown here, corresponds with and is perpendicular to one of your reference planes. Notice how this arrow, and when I tickle this plane, how that helix starts right at the surface of that reference plane. Okay, fair enough. We want it to go clockwise, right-hand threads. And now you'll notice with very little effort, we've got a helical path on that surface. Very powerful. Okay, the next thing we need to do is create a profile to sweep on that path. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to go back to this top plane, which is why I said it's important to know where that helical path starts. We're going to look at it perpendicular, and I noticed that it started on this side. You'll have to do the same thing. Okay, we're going to create a line, a profile if you will, that looks like our threading insert. Here's a standard 60-degree threading insert. Okay, I know a couple things about this profile if you will. I know that the included angle for standard threads is 60 degrees, 60-degree thread. Okay, I also know a couple other things. I know that this leg and this leg are certainly equal, no doubt about that. And the third thing that I need to specify for this profile is the height of the thread. Several different ways to do that, but for now we'll just say, to keep it simple, that that's simply 0.866 times the pitch, which is 1 over 20, or simply 0.866 divided by the number of threads per inch. Okay, that gives me my height of my thread profile. Notice the sketch is still blue. That's because it's free to move anywhere in space. I still have to fix it. Okay, how I have to do that is I need to create a center line down my profile like that. Okay, and I need to now create a relation that we haven't covered yet, and that's called pierce. And what I'm going to do, it's like threading needle, putting thread through the eye of a needle. I simply select this point on the sketch, which is why I drew this line, because I needed a point here. I hold down my control key and I select this helix, and now there's a new relation called pierce, and I simply select pierce, and notice that it moves this profile over to the path, keeps it perpendicular, and it pierced it, if you will. This point on this path is going to stay along, this point on this profile is going to stay along on this path its entire length. Okay, when we're done with that, you have to exit the sketch. Make sure you remember to exit the sketch, go to swept cut. Okay, and now it's going to ask you a couple questions. One, tell me what the profile is. This is my profile, the triangle. then it's going to ask me what is my path. My path is simply that helix. When I'm done with that, I say OK, and now I have a helical thread. Okay, I hope this is helpful.